And we start with first and football. We have some interesting news from the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs offense, didn't go deep that much last season. Craig, you were talking about that all last season. Well, according to Andy Reid, that should change. So, Craig, when you look at the numbers here, they didn't throw the ball deep nearly as much as they had in the previous years of Mahomes' career. Do you expect that to change much this season?
Yeah, that's the whole reason you bring in Hollywood Brown and you draft the kid out of Texas.
Xavier Worthy.
Who runs a 4.2, right? That's what we talked about, that their offense was not very good last year. He's great, obviously. Kelsey's great. Rashee Rice had a great rookie season. He'll be suspended for probably the first half of the season, so you won't see him. So you kind of got to, redefine what the Chiefs' offense is. And Andy Reid, throughout his coaching career, has always believed in having the ability to throw the ball deep, open up the offense a little bit more, and they just weren't built to do that this past year. Part of that's drops, obviously. Part of that is the fact that he fell in love with Rashee Rice, and Kelsey's always there somewhere open over the middle. But if they're going to three-peat, you ain't going to three-peat with a dink-and-dunk offense, because defense will figure that out. If you have the threat of going deep and a defense has to honor that threat, well, it changes everything. So we've talked about this the entire offseason. I talked about it throughout the season last year. That was the biggest need for the Kansas City Chiefs, a wide receiver with deep threat ability. They thought maybe Kadarius Toney would have been that guy. Obviously, he wasn't for a lot of reasons. And they've been looking for that guy since they let Tyreek Hill go to Miami, which is why the addition of two speed burners who can go deep will change what that Chiefs offense looks like.
I mean, listen, when Andy Reid goes to Patrick Mahomes and says he want to throw the ball deep, Andy Reid already basically had this in mind, because that's the reason why he went out and he traded up for Buffalo to get Xavier Worthy, and you bring in Hollywood Brown. But if you want to throw the ball deep, you have to have guys that are capable and have the ability to go deep. Obviously, they had Rashee Rice last year. I remember one throw where Patrick Mahomes threw him the post, and the ball landed right in front of him. He didn't lay out or make effort for the football, and then the drop by MVS, which was a game-winning throw, which he dropped. So now MVS is no longer there, and you bring in Xavier Worthy. I think that you get these guys in space, screens, those can be big plays. But when you have a guy who runs a 4.2, 140,
stupid.
I mean, he's going to take the top off of defenses just like Tyreek Hill when he was there.
Yeah, and we'll see. Obviously he's a rookie, so he'll have some growing pains like most rookies do. And there's going to come a day in the future when we question what the heck the Buffalo Bills were thinking in allowing and doing a deal with Kansas City in the first place and letting Kansas City move up to get a wide receiver, considering what does Buffalo not really have?
I mean, yeah, with all due respect, Keon Coleman, he was a Michigan State guy before he transferred to Florida State. But if you're Buffalo Bills and you're staring at Xavier Worthy with everything that he did at Texas in college, and you give Kansas City the trade, they get Xavier Worthy, and I would say that he's a better wide receiver than Keon Coleman, and you get the
later on in the sound, one of the things Mahomes said is that if they have that deep threat, it'll actually make things better for Kelsey. Do you think that change in the offense will make a more productive year for Kelsey as well?
Absolutely. It makes Kelsey that much more dangerous, because now those defenses can no longer focus on Kelsey. They don't focus on him anyway, because he still has 15 catches by halftime, which is mind-boggling to me. They would never let me catch the ball 15. If I catch the ball 15 times again, then
they'd make a point of trying to stop that at some point.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Kansas City also yesterday, and I'm getting a little tired of this scene because someone else should get a ring this time of year, but they got their Super Bowl rings. There you see Andy Reid, and of course you saw Kelsey and Patty Mahomes, and there's a bunch of other dudes showing off their rings and whatnot. I will say this: they made an error in the production of the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl rings. It's a clerical error, but they did make an error, and I'm always fascinated with the amount of checks these rings have to go under before they're allowed to make them, because the rings are expensive, right?
Very.
Like, if you had to tell us, if you had to guess, what did your Super Bowl ring cost? $50K?
Yeah, probably about that.
In that ballpark, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, in that ballpark, right? Yeah. So they list, the teams that the Chiefs beat in the playoffs en route to winning the Super Bowl on the ring. Well, the Miami Dolphins on the ring are listed as a 7 seed. They were not the 7 seed. They were the 6th seed.
Oh, they messed the ring
They
up.
messed it up. Yeah.
Do-over. Do-over.
Now, I don't think anybody cares, but like, how do you not notice that when you're making the damn thing?
You know what? I don't know about that. You got to get it right.
You would think you got to get it right. It's expensive. And you're not telling all the guys, send them back.
No.
I'm not sending mine back. I'm keeping it just in case.
Crazy.
But yeah, they made a mistake on the ring, listing the Miami Dolphins as a 7 seed.
I'm still wearing it, though.
Yeah, of course you're wearing it.
Moving on to second and football. Earlier this week, we had Jim Harbaugh praising his new quarterback, Justin Herbert. Well, yesterday was Herbert's turn to return the praise. Disappointing season last year. They just won 5 games. Right now, their over-under for this season is set at 8.5. Interesting. I don't know if they're going to go over-under that. What do you think, Craig?
I think that's probably a good number for them because you have a great coach, you have a great quarterback, and there's this big hope out there, that their wide receiving core becomes something good. We just don't know about their wide receiving core because it's a lot of young guys, and their first-round pick from a full year ago didn't live up to expectations. So what are the Chargers? I think they're a team that can get out actually to a 3-0 start this year. That's on the table. Having to play the Raiders, Panthers, and Steelers. I'd probably say 2-1's more likely, but that's on the table before they play Kansas City. I think teams hate a bye that early.
Yep.
And yet they have a bye in week 5. The good news for them is coming out of the bye, win. I mean, maybe another couple wins. So I think 8.5 is a fair number for them, which would be a market improvement from last year, acknowledging that he got hurt last year and didn't play the entire second half. But let's be honest about it. The Chargers are in rebuilding mode. Harbaugh would love to win a Super Bowl this year. He's not going to. If they can get to 9-8, that's a major accomplishment for this team. And there's going to come a day when someone's going to go on TV, maybe it'll be me, and say, you're paying Justin Herbert like he's the greatest quarterback to ever play the sport of football. He has not won a playoff game yet. He has only been in one playoff game in his young career. At some point, you got to get over that hump and make the playoffs, or you cannot be considered one of the top quarterbacks in the league.
Man, Sunshine got paid all that money because he had a 5,000-yard season a few years ago. But, he's a quarterback when he gets late in games in the fourth quarter. He doesn't will his team to win like a Patrick Mahomes. And everybody outside of Kansas City in that division, it's basically a toss-up.
Right.
Because you look at the schedule, they go to Denver in like week 5 or week 6. Then they go to Arizona. Arizona's a good team at home. You just don't know what's going to happen in the AFC West outside of Kansas
Well, their
City.
schedule allows them to win a bunch of games, especially the last month of the season.
8
Tampa,
games,
Denver, New England,
8 games
Raiders.
is not a lot of games.
I agree with you. I think they can be an over 500 team and be alive for a wild card spot after that Week 14 loss at Kansas City that's coming their way.
I don't even think they travel to Pittsburgh and win that game in Pittsburgh. I really don't. I don't think
they do either. But I think they're 2-1 after 3. I think that's on the table for them. I think the Raiders will battle for sure, but I think they can get off to at least a good start for them, and you'll keep people interested in what Charger football is all about. It's funny when you think about that draft class. You talk about Tua. He's never won a playoff game, and he hasn't gotten the big contract yet. Herbert hasn't won a playoff game. He has gotten the big contract. So if I'm Tua, I'm like, where's mine? Where's mine at? Trevor Lawrence got his. Herbert got his a year ago.
One playoff win.
Yeah, where's mine? I want mine.
Moving on to third and football. Jets fans were saying, where's mine? My quarterback.
That's my dude.
There's a lot of controversy about it, but Sauce Gardner said this. Are y'all really making a big deal because a 15-plus year Hall of Fame quarterback missed 2 days of practice after being with the team all throughout phase 1, 2, and 3 of OTAs? So Sauce Gardner is trying to put this to bed. Is it finally time we can put this controversy to bed, Craig?
I don't know what GG's means at the end of that.
Good games, I believe, is what I was told. The young people told me it was good game. It's like a Twitch streaming thing.
Good games. I don't know what the hell that means.
I don't know.
I'm not hip enough to know what
apostrophe in there?
GG's means. But everything Sauce Gardner says what I said yesterday. This is a manufactured story by people in the media that personally do not like Aaron Rodgers. People in the media that want to take a cheap shot at the New York Jets. And like I said yesterday, part of this is because the New York Jets have no goodwill. And that's fair, they don't. They've been a bad organization for a very, very long time. Aaron Rodgers has been a pain in people's asses for a very, very long time. But if Sauce Gardner tells you it ain't a problem to us, if Robert Saleh tells you it ain't a problem to us, if every single person that works for the New York Jets said this is a non-issue, at some point, don't you believe them? Don't you at some point go, maybe the media on this one is inventing a problem that doesn't exist because they don't like Aaron Rodgers. And I'll say it the way it is. Before Aaron Rodgers became the New York Jets quarterback, I did not like Aaron Rodgers. And I never met the guy.
Wow.
You hear stories, people talk, I don't know.
A little weird.
So that's all this is.
That's crazy.
This is a personal agenda from the established media against Aaron Rodgers for non-football reasons.
It sounds like
go ahead.
It sounds like you had a personal agenda with Aaron Rodgers before he became the quarterback of the
Now
team.
he's wearing green. Platt's wearing green now.
I did. I don't deny it. And that's the beauty. I'm the only guy that's honest on TV these days. When he played for the Packers, I had a personal agenda against Aaron Rodgers because of all the crazy stories I heard about.
His stories are still crazy.
But now he's my quarterback. Don't you understand that?
It doesn't take away from the fact that stories are still crazy.
I
The
agree.
man can
But I can tell you that I
push jerseys and now you
Here's the deal.
like him, you're shining his shoes.
I will tell. Let's just be honest about it. I've had a pretty damn good career in New York. When he played for the Green Bay Packers, I went on the air every single day and said horrendous things about him. He's a locker room cancer. I don't want him on my team. All that stuff that we say, right? Because I'm feeding the beast.
Is he not still doing that?
All of a sudden,
Is he not still doing that?
he's doing it for my team. Do you understand the difference?
Changes everything.
In the locker room.
I've now got a quarterback that represents a Super Bowl hope for me, which I've not had in my lifetime. So all the bad things I said about him, which is why I'm the only guy that can poke holes in every other TV host on our network and every other network, taking cheap shots at my quarterback, because I used to beat you guys. Not a Packer fan. There's a lot of blood in the water, a lot of stuff for me to attack and feast on. But now he's my quarterback. So I will stand tall like the guards at Buckingham Palace. Yes, sir. And I will protect my quarterback until he's not my quarterback. And that's what I'm going to do.
Well, when you got a chair, you said stand tall, but you're actually the same height sitting in the chair.
Hold on.
Unnecessary roughness.
I will stand tall, and I will protect the legacy of my starting quarterback right there over my shoulder, my guy, number 8. But that's what this is. This is a personal attack on Aaron Rodgers because you can't attack him as a football player. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the sport. He's a 4-time MVP. So what are we going to do? We're going to attack all the other stuff, which, by the way, is easy to attack. Conspiracy theories, vaccine stuff, vice presidential stuff, ayahuasca stuff, God knows where he is in the world instead of minicamp. There's stuff to attack, but it's personal. Because if you listen to the rhetoric of all the people this week that have come out attacking the New York Jets and attacking Aaron Rodgers, you'll notice one theme, no matter who that host is or TV personality. There's one constant theme. There's not a single attack on him as a quarterback. There's not a single attack on his ability to run an offense and lead a team. Well, so what are they attacking? They're attacking the fact that he's duplicitous. They're attacking the fact that he came out a month ago and said, no distractions. But no one's attacking him as a quarterback. So just be honest about it. You don't like Aaron Rodgers. He bothers you because he doesn't fit the narrative that you want your favorite athletes to fit. But you cannot say anything bad about him as a quarterback. So I'm telling you, get your popcorn and get ready to watch people like me enjoy the run. And you can't participate in it. So hate all you want. That guy right there, that guy's leading the Jets to the playoffs. And you're going to have to deal with us then. You are. Hey there. Thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.